Hello and welcome. It's the chat. I am Manny. My guest on the program is one of the most renowned legal jurists in the country.
Justice Olabode Rose Vivour is a lawyer, a former director of public prosecution in Lagos State, a former judge of the High Court of Justice, Lagos State, a former justice of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone, and a retired justice of the Nigerian Supreme Court. He was born on the 22nd of March in Lagos Island, an alumnus of St. Gregory's College in Obalende. Bode, as he is fondly called, attended the University of Lagos, where he studied law and graduated in 1974 with an LLB honors. He was admitted into the Nigerian Law School in 1975 and was called to the Nigerian bar in the same year. In that same year, he joined the Lagos State Judiciary as a state counsel and grew to become the Director of Public Prosecutions in 1989 and was appointed a High Court judge in 1994, and in 2005 he was appointed to the Nigerian Court of Appeal as Justice. In 2008, on secondment by the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he was posted to Sierra Leone Judiciary as Justice of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone. Upon return in 2010, he was appointed a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Before this time, he served as member, Election Petition and Appeals Tribunal in various states of the Federation. Honorable Justice Olabode Rose Vivour had an uninterrupted 45 years career in the legal profession, which earned him the Commander of the Federal Republic honor. He retired as a Supreme Court Justice after clocking 70 as required by the Constitution. He is happily married to Mrs. Adedoyin Rose Vivour, a senior advocate of Nigeria and chartered arbitrator. They are blessed with 3 children.
Honorable Justice Vivour Rose Vivour.
Yes.
It's a pleasure. You don't look 70.
Yeah, but that's my age. I am.
What did you have to do to keep going like this?
The grace of God.
I mean, obviously, it's been a long-standing career.
Yeah.
We are proud of you. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, the fact you have just turned 70, you turned 70, or was it in March you turned 70?
22nd of March.
Well, let's even drink to that.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
For a very successful career. So, but how did it all start for you?
And my father was a judge.
And so that wasn't difficult for you to choose a
No,
career
I
anyway.
to follow
it's in the blood.
Yeah, I like what was going on there.
You have been through all the levels of the judiciary.
Yeah.
In terms of her practice. You have been a director of public prosecution.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a little bit about prosecution. Why is it that prosecution in Nigeria today is always delayed?
Because it gets, it has to go through several stages before it is ripe for hearing in court. Let me give you an example. Somebody commits an offense somewhere. Let us say armed robbery. The police starts their investigation and arrests some people they perceive as suspects. The investigation starts. How did the robbery take place? They start collecting statements, exhibits, documents or whatever, guns, cutlasses and things like that. And this investigation goes on, and this takes time because there are several others that the police is doing. All right, when let us just say this one goes straight forward, it's so easy to crack. A case file is compiled and sent to the office of the DPP, as at the Ministry of Justice. That is where the DPP's department decides, looking at the evidence, whether there's a prima facie case to file in court. It is when that is filed in court, it goes into court and it takes its turn again, because there are several other cases in court. That is why you will have a bit of a delay. And I would like
As you grew up in the profession,
Yeah.
what were the sort of challenges you found, practicing as a director of public prosecution?
It's nothing different from what any other person experiences. The pay is not so good. The ministry teaches you thrift. When you go through the ministry, you know how to save your money, even when you don't even have much to save. So those are and it teaches you a lot of things. When you go through the ministry, you know the country. Because I don't know of anywhere else you can work in any country that gives you a broader outlook of the country than the civil service. The civil service is so broad, you get all types of people there. So when you spend like 10, 15 years in the civil service, I think that if you're not a Nigerian, you'll never be.
Well, have you had difficult cases to handle that you found very challenging in your time as a judge?
As a judge, no. But I found...
Did you have any remarkable case that you would probably
I have a
remember?
case that almost got out of hand because it affected me adversely. And that was the case of BTL versus UBA, where I don't know whether there was a gang up or what it was, but they were all out to show that I was wrong. But after a space of time, the Court of Appeal affirmed the judgment, and the Supreme Court affirmed the judgment.
And they say after the Supreme Court, you can only appeal to God.
Only God, yeah.
But has there been any case that you felt the Supreme Court misjudged?
They must have made mistakes. They are not infallible. But none easily comes to my mind now.
A lot of people complain in the judiciary that judges are not paid well. That is why they are, vulnerable to taking bribes and all of that. What do you think?
Well, that's true. They're not paid well. Their salaries have not been there.
How much is your salary as a judge?
Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court judge gets well under ₦1 million a month.
Under ৳1 million a month?
Yes.
Okay.
But when you bring in allowances and things like that, it may go over. So
that is not sufficient for a judge?
No.
To live on?
I think a judge should have twice that or thrice that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What about allegations of corruption by judges?
Corruption has been there since, it's as old as mankind. The corruption has always been there, and it's all over the world. Nigeria is no exception. It's everywhere.
Are you justifying it?
No, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying it's there. And what we should do is to reduce it.
Have you ever been tempted?
If you take a bribe, you have to be very, very careful. How will you be tempted? That man wants to give you.
But I mean, you agree that corruption goes on amongst within the legal profession.
No, I'm not saying I agree. I can't say no, because I have heard it like you have heard it, but I've not investigated it.
Could you possibly, looking at your career, determine some areas of challenges you have had while practicing as a judge?
Yes. Hours are long. We more or less do all the research ourselves. So, yes. It's only until recently we started having a comprehensive medical package. Until recently. And judges retiring without a house. Quite a number like that. Yes, these are about the challenges.
Those are about the challenges.
Yeah, because one of the reasons that makes you could say is responsible for corruption is that the future of most judges, before, not now, is so uncertain. When you retire, what happens to you?
You retire?
Yes, and
like other civil servants?
Yes, and go to where? You are living...
Where you're coming from?
You are living in the choicest area of town.
Yes.
And you retire and you go to the most remote part. I mean, you know, you ask about what are the challenges.
Yes.
Those are them. That, I add that one also. And that doesn't apply to me. I'm just talking generally when you talk about corruption. Why is there corruption? I think that is also a factor. Fear of the unknown. But the government and the NJC has been doing a lot to remove those type of things and give judges good security of tenure, and even after they leave office.
So tell me about your experience when you were appointed a Justice of the Supreme Court. How did you feel, and what did you have to do?
You see, the Court of Appeal is the same as the Supreme Court. The only difference is that the Supreme Court is final. 3 judges sit on everything that comes before them in the Court of Appeal. 5 sit in the Supreme Court. The procedures in both courts is similar. You sit on appeals. It's just that the Supreme Court is the final court. So if you go through the Court of Appeal in Nigeria, you don't have any problem sitting on the Supreme Court.
As a lawyer, do you think that young lawyers get the real benefit of practicing law in terms of their, returns? How much money they get paid by senior lawyers? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're not a senior lawyer, you're as good as, not practicing law in terms of remuneration.
You see, there was a time in Nigeria when you come out of the law school, you must spend about 5 years in a well-established firm before you start coming to the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. But that was abolished with time, or it wasn't followed with time. But today, there can be no doubt that junior lawyers complain a lot about the type of remuneration they get. But I don't know how to go around that, because you can't tell a senior lawyer what to pay. He will tell you that he has no space in his firm for anybody. He has some juniors, and that is enough for him. He says, I don't know how you can go around that. There's no way.
So you are one of the advocates of better pay for young lawyers.
Oh, yes, by far.
Yet you don't have an idea.
I don't have an idea how they could be paid that better pay. Because I hear some junior lawyers get some unbelievable salaries.
Some even get as low as 30,000, 40,000 a month.
You see that?
This is from very well-established law firms.
Who will tell the head of that law firm to give them more salary? And if you do tell them, they tell them, well, I can't afford it. What can you do? Nothing you can do. But I agree, those figures are very, very low. I mean, a junior lawyer, I don't think that comes out of the law school today, at today's rate, should not get anything less than 150,000 a month. At today's rate of the Naira.
Your experience, what was it like when you went to Sierra Leone as a, justice of the Supreme Court?
Yeah, the country was just recovering.
Yeah.
But their structures were well in place. I mean, the Supreme Court, things like that were built 50, 100 years ago. Sierra Leone was the hub of legal work, legal practice in West Africa. There was a time when appeals from Nigerian courts were going there before they went to the Privy Council. So their structures were well in place, but they didn't have manpower, personnel, because as I said, the war was very devastating.
What was your experience like,
It's the same as here.
Really?
I mean, the same procedure, the same as here.
What about the level of crime?
You have the Yoruba community there, you have the Igbo community there, you have the Hausa Fulani community. It's not different.
And the level of crimes community?
No. It was not large scale. You had, it's a small country, so
the crime is not as sophisticated as Nigeria.
Yes, and you can't afford to be an armed robber there, because I don't know where you run to. Everywhere is, everybody knows everybody.
Pick a question. Don't look into the box.
Okay. Yeah, the question says, is there a need for amendment of the Constitution to reduce the number of appeals that are filed at the Apex Court?
Okay, so what's your answer?
Yes. The Constitution, you see, as of now, the Supreme Court has the power to use leave as a weapon to stop frivolous appeals coming to the Supreme Court. All right, but the Constitution could also be amended to say these certain courses of action should not come to the Supreme Court. All right, if you ask me, I'll tell you now. I don't see why chieftaincy matters should not end in the Court of Appeal. I don't see why things like injunctions and bail should not end in the Court of Appeal. All right, you have the Supreme Court crowded with all manner of appeals, and there's a reason for it. The reason why those cases come to the Supreme Court is because one of the conditions for becoming a senior advocate of Nigeria is to have certain number of Supreme Court cases. So after the Court of Appeal gives judgment, as a matter of course, you just go to the Supreme Court, whether you like it or not, to make up the numbers. I will like a situation where judges of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court use that weapon of leave, because leave means permission, leave to stop all manner of appeals coming to the Supreme Court.
Especially in politics.
Yes, it was like that before. The gubernatorial governorship elections used to end in the Court of Appeal. Now it's Supreme Court. The senatorial ends in the Court of Appeal, and it has been so now. But you see, we should have a situation where 3 judges will look at all appeals filed to the Supreme Court. You can rotate them, not in open court, in chambers, and say, this one will hear this one we are not hearing this we are not hearing this. Like what goes on in the United States. And they don't necessarily have to give you a reason why. You get it? So you have that type of thing, whereby you look at it and say, what is the point of this type of case? This type of appeal, we're not hearing it, we're not hearing it. And it dies a normal death.
Do you think that the Constitution needs to be amended?
Oh yes, in many other areas.
For political reasons?
Yes. You can amend the Constitution for restructuring. You can amend the Constitution for powers of certain bodies in the already entrenched in the Constitution, like the NJC, the things like that, several. But that is not something that one just talks off the cuff. Those are things that you look at the Constitution properly and see where it should be amended. But as regards reducing the appeals that come to the Supreme Court, that is straightforward. Because if you sit as a judge in the Supreme Court, you should know why the Supreme Court is so crowded with cases. And that is the reason. There's a very generous appeal rules and structure put in place by the rules of court that makes all manner of appeals come to the Supreme Court.
At what stage?
For example, just before you ask your question, what is the business of the Supreme Court listening to a case whereby a party wants the Supreme Court to decide who its candidate is? That comes to the Supreme Court. You see them fighting on who their candidate is. So the party is about to implode and tells you, the Supreme Court, to tell us who is our candidate. You see, they are the ones to decide who their candidate is. That's not my business. You have those type of cases.
In the course of your profession, have you had anyone who's your friend That's come before you.
Part of the ethics of the profession.
Yes.
When your friend's case is filed before you, you should send it back to the Chief Justice to assign it to someone else. Because if you think the lawyers don't know that that is your friend, you're in for the biggest shock of your life. In court, they will bring it out. So no lawyer, no judge does that.
If you have to live your life all over again, would you like to be a lawyer?
No. Definitely not.
Why?
No. I don't like, no. I mean, I would like to go through all this again. I like to be, if I do law, I like to stay and try and become successful as a lawyer. I would like to be a judge.
If you had the opportunity of coming back to life again, what would you rather be?
I'd have loved to be a great tennis player or a Formula One driver.
Oh, really?
Yes, one of those two.
Not footballer?
No. Not looking. I mean, something you do on your own. Footballer, you depend on others to help you. You can't complain to anybody if you play tennis or you're a Formula One driver.
If you were made Chief Justice of the Federation by political appointment, what would be the first thing you'd like to change?
Oh, there are several.
Yeah, name one.
The way and manner in which judges are appointed. That's one.
You don't agree with the way and manner a new judge is appointed?
No, I mean, we should find some other way whereby you get, like what goes on in England. People that are appointed judges in England are QCs. So they are well-tested lawyers before they become judges.
So it's not by federal character?
No, not by anything. That is it. If you're not a QC, you can't be a judge in England. But QC, the equivalent of QC here, senior advocates, will not take the job because the money is too small.
At what stage did you think of getting married?
My late 20s.
Okay.
When I had worked for some time and had a car and had quarters.
So you just picked up somebody that you already...
No, I met my wife.
Yeah.
And I knew there was something.
There was some connection.
Yes, there was some connection. I can't explain it, but there was something that I couldn't explain. And I've been happy ever after.
If you were going to go on, say, 10 days holiday to an island, and you're given the option of 5 things you take along with you that you cannot do without, what would they be?
Oh, I have some books that I want to catch up with.
You writing or reading?
No, reading.
Yeah?
There are some good ones from Nigeria. One by Wole Soyinka, by Chief Awolowo, My March Through Prison and the Travels of Democracy. That type of book.
Okay, so you take those ones?
I'll take that one. I'll take my musical set to listen to good music while I'm there.
What kind of music do you listen to? What in your opinion, is good music?
Motown. Motown.
Motown?
Yes.
Old-fashioned Motown records?
Yeah, that's one. Then Nigerian music, the ones coming up now, all this Davido.
Oh, you like them?
They make a lot of sense. They're getting accolades all over the world. Then the typical...
Do you dance?
No, I don't. I listen.
What? Oh, you only listen?
You listen to things like Sonny Ade, Ebenezer Obey, Fela, those type of things. Almost all are good music. Anything you can think of.
Okay. So what else?
Mobile phone.
Your phone, yes.
That's what I think.
So on that 10-day break, for instance, you wouldn't need to take a Bible with you. You don't read the Bible. What?
I read it. It escaped me. But I should have come first. Because without the Bible, you are dead. Yes, thanks for reminding me.
Okay.
It escaped me. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you think you have lived a fulfilled life?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have no complaints.
You have no regrets?
No regrets. None whatsoever.
We thank God for your life.
Yes.
And let's drink to it again.
Yes.
Honorable Justice Vivour. And this is to a longer life and more happiness.
Thank you very much. I wish you the same too.
And once again, congratulations for turning 70 and retiring as well from the Supreme Court. And that's how it's been on the chat this week. I am Manny. See you again. The Chat is produced by Channels Television. You can watch it again online. Just visit our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook.